So this month, we are shifting gears in our spiritual explorations. We're going from what's in the way is the way to expand and broaden our understanding of the Aramaic meaning of one of Christianity's most known prayers, which we call the Lord's Prayer. I'm using the book called Setting a Trap for God by Dr. Rocco Errico. He is an internationally known authority on the Aramaic and Hebrew interpretations of the Bible, and he's also an expert on understanding the ancient Semitic culture, because we have to understand both. What did this mean in the language that Jesus spoke it? And what was the context in which it was being, what was the world like? Because we try and put everything in the context of our lens, and 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, the world and the culture was very different from ours. But before we talk about our Father, Spirit has been consistently poking me to speak about, and I told Mary, it's like of all mornings, and I'll share more about that later, but here we go, of something that I have been wrestling with for several years now. And that is the question of what is my role as spiritual leader of this community in the midst of what we are experiencing, this deep polarity of worldviews and values that's happening in our country specifically. What is the role of unity communities, if there is one? And I have witnessed this struggle between other unity ministers. We have a ministers chat out there on Facebook, and I've witnessed, sometimes I'm glad it's only for ministers, that nobody else can read these posts, a display of very strong feelings and certainty playing out on both sides. I've sat with and thought about the values that this community agreed upon in 2019, the last time we did an exploration of values, or you did, I wasn't here then, that are spirit-led, and the value of service and joy and prosperity and inclusive was the value. And underneath that, or as a tagline to that, as a definition to that, it says valuing the unique and diverse experiences of everyone. I've spent the most time thinking about what does that look like? How does this value of inclusivity show up? How is it that we'll know and we'll go, oh, yep, that's it, right there. When I was at the Unity Conference last month, we had a lot of small group discussions, and in one of them, a Unity minister said that she felt so strongly about the need to fight against some of the policies that are going on in our country right now that she has incorporated into many of her talks, that it has become sort of a community discussion and effort. And she went on to say that it had caused some of the people in her community to step away, who had different perspectives, different worldviews, a different way of looking at it. And they felt like they were really no longer welcome in that community. And she said, and it was a price she was willing to pay. And it struck me at my very core. The clarity sort of, the light bulb went on a little bit, because while I respect her choice and the choices of other ministers and people leading communities across this country, the clarity came that I was and I am committed to keeping this community a safe space where we, at least within the container of these walls, value unique and diverse experiences of everyone. As your spiritual leader, I want this to be a safe space where you can deepen your relationship with God and to discover who you are as a divine expression of it. I pray that this is the container where when people push your buttons, and we're people, and we got buttons, and they will probably push them. We are willing to take self-responsibility for our own buttons and practice healing them. Where we strive to live into the Christ values of non-judgment, of really feeling the important need to do our very best to love one another, including those we perceive to be our enemies, and to discovering our interconnectedness. To be aware that as I do unto you, I do to myself. As I say to you, I say to myself. Because in this world beyond this separate experience we feel like we're having in this human body, we are one. And what I do affects the whole. That we demonstrate in ways perhaps we've never been able to demonstrate before our tagline, which we speak about all the time: free of judgment, full of love. To everyone who walks through these doors. So I also resonated with an interview I read in the Unity magazine, Spirituality and Health. It was in the May-June issues with Marianne Williamson. And she was asked the question, what is your purpose, by the interviewer? And her response was to give love, to extend God's love. That is what we all have been created for. Our purpose is to be a ray of light wherever we are and whatever we're doing. To embody love and compassion, to show up, not perfectly, but the very best that we can, and to be a space of possibility for others and for ourselves. And she ended that quote with, that can be a whole lot easier said than done, which I know we've all experienced. So what is my purpose as your spiritual leader? My clarity is this, is to offer messages and classes and group discussions and leadership that deepens and expands our capacity, you being a part of it, to live this universal purpose of extending God's love, at least while we're in these walls. Practices that can support you in transforming your life, and then encouraging you to go out and make a difference, however that looks for you. Support the organizations that you want to support. Volunteer in the places that you want to volunteer. This is your both collective and unique journey. So before I turn to our Father and we make that shift, I offer you this statement by Father Richard Rohr to ruminate upon. And it's interesting, like all this stuff just started coming in the last couple weeks, so I was like, okay. He said that the opposite of faith is not doubt, it is certainty. Our spiritual journey will be filled with times of doubt. We get into trouble when we become certain that we know God's understanding, that we know what's right. I don't know, just think about that. So Rocco Errico entitled the book that I'm using as my guide, Setting a Trap for God. It seemed a little odd to me when I first read that title until I understood that the Aramaic word for prayer, which is slatha, I'm probably going to not say those right, it literally means to set a trap. And what the people of that time understood is that prayer was setting your mind so that it was open and ready to trap the thoughts of God. So that you can catch those inner thoughts, that you can be able to connect with and to bring into your awareness, inner guidance, and impulses that come from that inner spiritual source that's within each of us. It also has other meanings, just like our language does. Sometimes it's to focus, to adjust, or as we would probably say today, to tune in. So as we move into our time of meditation, which we take sometime every Sunday just to go within and see what's rising up for us, to set a trap in our own minds so that we can know and feel and experience that presence of God and those messages that are there for us. I wanted to do something a little bit different this morning. I always like to do something a little different. So we're going to use a song meditation. You can watch the video if you want. You can close your eyes and just listen to the word. But this is the Our Father, sung in Aramaic. It was done several years ago for the audience of Pope Francis. So just see what resonates with you as you hear this spoken in the language that Jesus spoke, and allow it to set a trap for God and God's thoughts. Just in this quiet time, just see if there is something ruminating in your own mind that God is asking you to become aware of. And take a deep breath with me, and as we let that breath go, we bring our awareness back to this time and to this space and to this life before us. And whenever you're ready, if you've got your eyes closed, you can open them. So the word God in Aramaic, and again, I'm probably not going to say this accurately, but is Allah, which means, translated into English as revered one, sometimes strong and mighty one, the one who sustains. And there's also another name for God that's often used called Ithia, which means self-existent, self-cohesive, and self-sustaining. Ithia is the force within and behind the universe that keeps everything on the move. That's the way they would have understood it. But when we get to the New Testament and the time of Jesus, he introduces a whole new concept about God with the word Abba, Father, more precisely. But actually, the meaning when you use Abba is more like daddy. It's a term of endearment for the one that he saw as that sustainer of him. And this was a huge contrast between a supreme deity and the word and the thought of God as an Abba, as a father. The people listening to this at the time, it would have been startling for them to hear. For up until then, Jesus or people understood God as one that was wrathful, unapproachable, being one who caused all things to happen. And Jesus extended an invitation to all those around him to know God as he did, as a father who loved his children, even the ones who had gone astray. The word heaven, which is our Father who art in heaven, first line of the Lord's Prayer, in Aramaic means sky or universe or cosmos. The understanding of heaven in this ancient Near East mindset has changed and evolved over time, just as it has in our own. From Genesis, it understood heaven as a creation of God, not a domicile, not the domain of God. Later, poets and prophets and psalmists tell us heaven is the home of God and can be the home for those who are found worthy to reside in that space with God. The author writes that Jesus, through his teachings, freed us from the limiting and mistaken notion of a sectarian, nationalistic, partisan God. Jesus invites us into a relationship with God as the very breath we breathe, as something like pure water that flows freely and everywhere and is available to everyone. So the opening line of the Lord's Prayer, Our Father, who art in heaven, is an attunement. If we use it as part of our prayer time, it's an attunement to our union with God. It's an attunement not only to our union with God, but to our fellow human beings who are all part of this family of God. And it's an attunement not just to our fellow human beings, but all sentient life, and to the earth, and to the stars, and to the moon, which are all part of God's creation. May this expanded awareness support you in fulfilling our universal purpose to be a channel for God's love. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this community. This is an opportunity for you to not only share of your financial good, but to share in your awareness of abundance as it flows in and through our ministry and those unlimited possibilities as the Daily Word reminds us today. For those of you who are newer with us, in just a moment, the ushers are going to invite you to come up row by row and place your gift in the basket, and then receive an affirmation in the smaller basket to bless you this week. And I know many of you give electronically, so we still want you to come and be in that flow of giving and receiving. You can simply just put your hand over the basket and add your energy to it, or there's cards that you can put in the basket as a demonstration of your giving through our electronic systems, which is more and more the way things are going these days. So we are grateful for all of the ways in which we are supported to continue to do the work that is ours to do. And I invite you to hold whatever you're sharing in your hands and in your heart and bless it. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so we go out into the day, into our world, taking that prayer for protection with us. We're going to do it as a call and response. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
And together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Thank you.